Right, the Taliban have captured the capital of Afghanistan's Nimroz province as they step up their offensive across the country. Earlier in the day, gunmen shot and killed the head of the Afghan government's media and information centre in Kabul. Afghan police confirmed the killing of Dawar Khan Minapal, who has also served as President Ashraf Ghani's spokesperson. The UN Security Council is expected to meet in the next hour in a special session to discuss the worsening situation in the country. Well, let's speak now to Dipali Mukhopadhyay, Associate Professor of Global Policy at the University of Minnesota and Senior Expert on the Afghanistan peace process for the US Institute of Peace. Thank you so much for coming on the programme.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So I know your expertise is the peace process. We will come to that in just a second. But first, I just want your reaction to the violence we've seen over the last couple of days and even into today.
The violence has been shocking, but not entirely unexpected. Since the precipitous withdrawal of U.S. forces, we've been seeing a boost in the morale for the Taliban and the kind of audacity in their push to move into territories they didn't have before, and a struggle on the part of the Afghan security forces to hold that territory.
So do you think the withdrawal of those international troops has been a mistake?
I'm not sure I would say the withdrawal as a concept has been a mistake, but the speed with which it has happened and the failure to plan for these contingencies, I think there's no question this has put the Afghan government in an incredibly difficult position to defend territory. I don't think it didn't have to be this way.
And how serious are you taking this violence? Clearly, we saw a few weeks ago the retreat in the rural areas of Afghan government forces and the Taliban in the ascendancy there, now threatening the cities. Just how bad do you think this could get for the Afghan government?
I think it's incredibly serious. I think it's a moment of existential crisis for the Afghan government, and it portends tremendous suffering for the Afghan people. I don't think the Taliban will easily take provincial capitals, but I think, and there will be resistance, I believe, but that will mean a great deal of fighting and suffering for the people who live in those communities.
Interesting. Well, let's move to the peace process now. And given what the Taliban are doing on the battlefield in Afghanistan right now, what do you think their true aims are with these peace talks?
I think it's clear if you look at the Taliban's behavior on the battlefield that their aim right now is total victory and a violent reimposition of the emirate. As I said, I think they will meet with very serious resistance, but I don't think there's any reason to believe that they're serious about a negotiated settlement at this time.
So if you, in your opinion, that they're not serious, what do you think the international community should do?
Well, as you mentioned at the top of this report, the Security Council is convening today. All of the countries in the region and the major powers that have a stake in Afghanistan have made clear that it's not in their interest to see a violent reimposition of an emirate. And so I think it's up to these countries to move into a space of very aggressive cooperation to make clear to the Taliban that this kind of behavior is unacceptable, and that if a forceful reimposition of the emirate takes place, Afghanistan will enter a kind of isolation that is unsustainable. Any government cannot exist in the 21st century on those terms. And I think the international community, it's time to step up that diplomatic push now.
OK, Dipali Mukhopadhyay, we really appreciate your insight. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.